half an hour from your scheduled class. Okay. I heard there are quite a few bright students in this class. Everybody can respond for this question, bright and otherwise. Hello?
Yes, sir.
That's good. Okay, today I think if some of you who have attended my previous class can remember that we had started with rickets, osteomalacia, and scurvy, metabolic bone disorders. I stopped at that level, and now I am continuing with today. Basically, let me tell you, I am touching upon osteoporosis, Paget's disease, and osteogenesis imperfecta. We'll go slowly. I think all of them, majority of them are in final year. Final year. Okay, you need not answer my every question. Straight away, I will start some MCQs and relevant text in between. You can text me or prompt me if my audio is not clear. Okay, 70-year-old lady got a compression fracture of L1 vertebra, no neurological deficit. Following are the advices except. I think we had solved this question. There is an overlap, but then I know who had attended and who has not attended. Anybody take this question? Yeah, Shrisha, I guess I'm identifying your voice.
MRI scan, sir. Except MRI.
Right, okay. You can explain to others also. See, now that there is a patient already having a L1 fracture. There is no neurological deficit. Please remember, there is no neurological deficit. So we are treating compression fracture in 70 years means vitamin D supplementation is essential. DEXA scan to see if there is osteoporosis, and if there is definitely there is an osteoporosis, you give vitamin D supplementation and alendronate. You don't subject them to MRI, expensive and no need because there is no neurological deficit. Okay, we'll go to the next question. Osteoporosis is seen in all except,
Sclerosis.
yeah, sclerosis. Drugs increasing. I will explain about the drugs of osteoporosis in a minute. Drugs decreasing bone resorption in osteoporosis are all except,
Strontium.
yeah. See, drugs or anti-osteoporotic drugs are two or three types basically. One which inhibits resorption. See, what is osteoporosis? Osteoporosis, for that matter, is a bank balance by the age of 30 years. By the age of 30 years, you will have a bank balance. So, here till the age of 30, bone deposition is more and resorption is less. So, you will have a positive bank balance by the age of 30. Maximum bank balance of bone stock is by the age of 30 years. After that, there is a loss of 1% of bone every year. Every year, there is a loss of 1%. So, you should understand this concept. Osteoporosis, if you have a peak bone mass, so you will retire, you will stop earning by 30 years, you go on spending 1% every year. So, you imagine your bank balance goes on decreasing. So, you want to enjoy a good lifespan, retirement period means you have to have a hefty bank balance. They remember 1% is for male, and after men and women is 1%, and after attaining menopause it is 2% for the women. So women lose more bone after attaining menopause. So you understand. So once, how do you prevent osteoporosis? So you have to achieve a peak bone mass. Peak bone mass is achieved by the peak bone mass is what? By the age of 30, whatever maximum bone mass you achieve, that is peak. So how do you do that? But you have to encourage adolescents to do weight bearing exercises. Weight bearing exercises. By that I mean swimming doesn't improve your bone quality. Please remember, this is not a weight bearing exercise. So you have to encourage adolescent children till the age of 30 years to do bone or weight bearing exercises. It can be anything, athletes or any kind of other exercises. And nutrition, proper nutrition. In India, majority of osteoporosis is nutritional, because what I mean by good nutrition is you have to have calcium supplements and vitamin D. These are very important to achieve a big or huge peak bone mass. Okay, am I clear till that? Okay, so what happens after this? After the age of 30, there is bone deposition. There is a depositors. Imagine bone is a calcium bank. So depositors come and deposit money, and lenders take money. Borrowers. These are depositors, these are borrowers. So deposit will stop after that. What happens here? It is uh, depositors and these are borrowers. That I have come that you will achieve peak bone mass. So on the bone there is a regular homeostasis. Calcium is released and taken from a serum, that is a circulation. It is a dynamic. Bone is a dynamic tissue. For that matter, any tissue is a dynamic for that matter. So regular exchange of calcium happens from bone to serum and serum to bone. So in the bone what happens? In the bone what happens? There is, it is dynamic means there is continuous deposition, continuous resorption. Okay, continuous resorption and continuous deposition. So why this is important is whatever. So deposit, who are the depositors? Osteoblasts. Osteoblasts are the depositors. Who are robbers or the borrowers? Osteoclasts. Osteoclasts. Okay, they can act on a different mechanism. So for the osteoblasts to deposit bone, some mediators are required like vitamin D and calcium. Okay, now we are talking of osteoporosis. So how to improve the quality of the bone? By giving vitamin D and calcium. But after 30, deposition is less. So what are the drugs remaining now? So you have to prevent the osteoclasts from borrowing or robbing the bone. So what are the drugs which act on the osteoclasts? You end up finally, these are anti-resorptive anti-resorptive drugs. Means these drugs act on osteoclasts, prevent the osteoclasts from resorbing the bone. That you understood. Okay. So what are the drugs? Anti-resorptive drugs. Anti-resorptive drugs are, it can be estrogen, that is hormone replacement therapy. It can be selective estrogen receptor modulators. Okay, that is like Reloxifene. Please remember carefully, it is Reloxifene or Tamoxifen. I will explain you in a minute. Tamoxifen. So what are other anti-resorptive drugs? These are main. These are the main drugs. So then comes your bisphosphonates. Bisphosphonates. So what they do, they prevent the bone resorption by acting on the osteoclast. In a minute, I will explain very briefly how they act. Bisphosphonates bind with hydroxyapatite molecule. So this doesn't allow calcium hydroxyapatite to go into the blood circulation. So once this bisphosphonate binds with hydroxyapatite, there is no resorption. This is one mechanism of action. The other anti-resorption reloxifene is This is selective estrogen modulator. There are estrogen receptors everywhere, but this what happens in the breast, there are estrogen modulators, there are bones also has a estrogen receptors. This SERM or raloxifene is antagonist for estrogen receptors on the breast, but they are agonist for estrogen receptors on the bone. So you remember, women are very well protected from osteoporosis till the menopause because of the estrogen. Estrogen is a bone protecting hormone. Now, when the patient has attained postmenopausal, you use selective estrogen receptor molecule modulator, because high dose estrogen, prolonged estrogen can cause CA of endometrium. So this also protects from CA breast, but acts only on the bone. That much I will tell, and we'll continue again with MCQ so that you will come to know. So what you have learned now, drug decreasing bone resorption in osteoporosis. You have already given the answer. Raloxifene is a selective receptor, estrogen receptor modulator. Teriparatide is a PTH analog. PTH, low dose of PTH increases the bone density, But remember, high dose PTH in what happens in a hyperparathyroidism? There is a osteoporosis. Remember, whenever they say teriparatide in osteoporosis, it is a low dose PTH. Strontium is one thing, it is a positive. It acts on both deposit and resorption, but it is acts positively on bone deposition. Residronate is one of the bisphosphonate. Bisphosphonate. I will come to bisphosphonates little later. They are very, very interesting and important. So you answered this. We'll go to the next. In osteoporosis, which of these is seen? Anybody?
Increased ALP, decreased.
Okay, in osteoporosis, which of this is? It is not except. In osteoporosis, which of this is true or which of this is seen?
Decrease calcium and increase ALP.
No, it is normal calcium, normal ALP. Osteoporosis, one more, again I'll continue with some discussion. Osteoporosis, what happens? The quality of the units are normal. If there are osteons are the basic building block of the bone. There are all the osteons are normal, but the number of osteons are less. Please remember this. That's why it is like building a wall by less number of bricks. Okay, if you build with thin bricks, the bricks are normal, but the width of the wall is less. The number of bricks used for the wall is less. So the strength of the bone is less, but the bricks are normal, number of bricks are less. Bricks, I mean, you have to understand this is a building unit or osteon of the bone. So the quality of the unit is normal. The quality is normal means the mineralized part, the osteoid is normal, and mineralization is also normal. Please remember this. Osteoid is normal, mineralization is normal, but the quantity is less. If the bone you consider in osteoporosis, this is osteoid, this is mineralization in the young adult of the age of 30 years. But here in beyond for 50 years, the quantity is less. Mineralization is also there. the osteoid matrix is also normal. Means overall quantity is less. So why I am coming to that is, if you do serum calcium, normal calcium is there, and normal, one more important thing you please remember, alkaline phosphatase is increased if there is a fracture. If there is a pathological fracture or a osteoporotic fracture which is trying to heal, you require alkaline phosphatase. Bone specific alkaline phosphatase is raised. Uncomplicated osteoporosis, the no, calcium and alkaline phosphatase is normal. Please remember this, I am corrected. So, is there any doubt? In osteoporosis, calcium and alkaline phosphatase is normal. Please remember that. So, I am coming to some interesting things about osteoporosis. Okay, osteoporosis, you know, most common is primary, and then comes your secondary. I might exceed my time limit. Kindly bear with me. If you have any other commitments, you can leave in between. Okay, that's just a rider I wanted to tell you. So primary and secondary osteoporosis. Secondary can be because of any hormonal disorders or any hereditary disorders or nutritional disorders. We are talking only about today, now in this instance, primary osteoporosis. So how do you diagnose osteoporosis? How do you diagnose osteoporosis? So anybody can tell me? Anybody take a guess so that it will be interaction will be interesting. So generally it is an X-ray or it is a gold standard is DEXA. Please remember this. X-ray will detect osteoporosis when the mineral density is lost more than 40%. If X-ray is picking up osteoporosis, means the bone has already lost more than 40% of mineral density. That time only X-ray. So X-ray is not a good investigation tool. It is a late. If you see osteoporosis on X-ray, means it is late. So what is gold standard? Gold standard is DEXA, dual absorption X-ray absorptiometry, dual energy X-ray absorptiometry. So just because in the flow I might be telling you a little more plus, but it's very interesting. You will remember this. DEXA can be central or peripheral. So central means you do DEXA scan for the spine. Please remember this. Okay. DEXA is based on the CT. Means there is a radiation hazard. Radiation hazard. So what they do DEXA scan and they will give you a T score. You have to remember please these two words, T score and Z score. Okay. WHO has defined what is osteoporosis is up to 1 to 2.5, 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2.5 and more than 2.5. This is all minus. You remember, you go to this graph. So this is a population, median population. Here, if you fall here, it is a normal. On the left side, if you fall, it is abnormal. That is better picture. One more is there. Okay, this here you can see better. See this, if it is between 0 to -1, it is osteopenia. -1 to -2.5, it is osteoporosis. Please remember this. Okay, so what I was telling, normal bone density up to 0 to -1 is normal. -1 to -2.5, osteoporosis. Osteopenia, please remember, osteopenia. Beyond -2.5, it is osteoporosis. So Whenever you do a DEXA scan, you will be given a T score. T score, they will tell you your T score is minus 1.5. Then you will know. But what is T score? You should know. Your mineral density is compared to 30-year-old individual, 30-year-old healthy, normal individual. Remember this. So by that standard, many people will be coming as osteoporosis. So, but Z score is very, very important. Z score is if I'm doing evaluating a patient of a, woman aged 45 years, 5 feet, Asian woman, then I will compare her bone density to the exactly this age, this height, and this race. Then you will get a Z score. Okay. So whenever you just remember T and Z score. That is good enough for the time being. But there is a formula. If you are kind of a person who wants more, you can write down this formula. Okay, which is a conversion for T and Z score. Z score is more specific. More specific means because it is matched with age, sex, and race of the individual. Okay, okay, we are there with one of such question. Z score measures the bone mineral density compared to. So I have already given the
First one.
first one. So because I want to have a fair race. If there is a running race means I can't allow a 12-year-old adolescent running a very active individual who's running with a 60-year-old woman. This is not fair because there is a confounding factor. Age, sex, everything doesn't match. That's why Z score is more essential because it matches but same age, race and sex. Right. This is what I have finished with. Okay. Osteoporosis, which of the following is false? Read this question carefully. I want some interaction because I got a very good feedback from this batch by the other teachers.
Option one.
Very good, very good, very good. Who is this?
Trisha sir.
Okay, good. See, this it looks like a tricky question, but if you understood the concept, it is very, very simple. Osteoporosis, we have told PTH is used for the treatment. Calcitonin, see, it is a bone forming hormone. It decreases the bone pain. Calcitonin is used in especially osteoporotic spine fracture, osteoporotic vertebral fracture. This is an indication. Even though it helps in improving the osteoporosis, there is additional analgesic effect of calcitonin. Bisphosphonates, of course, they are the cornerstone of the treatment. Gold standard for the diagnosis of osteoporosis. You know that answer, isn't it?
Exam.
DEXA scan.
You watch this diagram because what I told in the way back in previous slides, I told you the X-ray is also one of the diagnostic tool, but this is not a good tool to detect early osteoporosis because if you see osteoporosis already 40% of the bone is lost, means it is already very, very late. But there are criteria to identify or grade. You can do grading like DEXA. You said T score and Z score where WHO has given you beyond minus 2.5 is osteoporosis, isn't it? Similarly, on X-ray, you can do grading of the osteoporosis. I'll come to that now. See, this is called as Singh's index. Please remember this. This is called as Singh's index. Singh's index. This is graded by 6 grades. One thing you please remember, topper is normal, means sixth is normal. Generally the grading will be reverse, isn't it? But please remember six grades, six index, topper is normal. Means grade 6 is normal. Grade 6 is normal. Okay. How it is detected is you have to take a X-ray of pelvis with both hips. Okay. So you have to remember in this, these are very important diagrams. Please remember, these are the trabeculae. You have two types of trabeculae primarily: compressive trabeculae and tensile trabeculae. Please watch carefully. You have to have, there are trabeculae, a fine line of arrangement of trabecular bone in the proximal leg. So why this is called as compressile means this takes the load directly, isn't it? If you are standing, imagine you are putting weight on this, it is compressing. Imagine this with this one, which is tensile. It means it is somebody is trying to break it, isn't it? See, this is tensile, this is compressile. Compressile force is if you are standing on the stool, it is a compression. But if you are standing on one of the gate, it is tensile because you will try to bend it, bending force or tensile force. So you remember there are two types of trabeculae: compressile trabeculae and tensile trabeculae. That's enough. Primary and secondary. So there are basically four types of trabeculae. Why this is important is, now I am coming to this important part. There is something called as Watt's triangle. They have asked previously MCQs regarding Watt's triangle. Watt's, there are other triangles also when it comes to hip, but I'll come to that a little later. Watt's triangle is you seen in osteoporosis. Watt's triangle is seen in normal also, but widening or increase in size of the Watt's triangle is seen in osteoporosis. Okay, that's again a continuity here, just to reinforce this, the space between, I don't try to remember this trabecula, which trabecula and other things. Inferior part of the neck of the femur, there is a Watt's triangle. So as this trabecula starts disappearing, this triangle becomes bigger and bigger. So Watt's triangle is evaluated in osteoporosis. Please remember, there is one more triangle here. Just for completion, I have taken this slide. This triangle in the head is called Babcock's triangle. This is the commonest site for tuberculosis. Tuberculosis. I don't know, you want to make some mnemonics, whatever you want to make, please remember what triangle is associated with osteoporosis. Okay, Watt's triangle for osteoporosis, Babcock's triangle is for commonest for site for hip tuberculosis. Right. Yeah, this is one more diagram so that you will never forget. Here comes your Watt's triangle in the neck. Here comes your triangle of Babcock's. Okay, most common site of fracture in post-menopausal women. Anybody? Yes?
Fine. Sir, option 2.
Anybody else?
Fine.
It is fine. Vertebral compression are most common site for osteoporosis, and most of them are asymptomatic. And that's why you see after osteoporosis, secondary or postmenopausal, you see there is a decrease in the height of the women or men for that matter because of decrease in vertebral height. There is kyphosis, there is hunchback. The elderly men start walking with a stooping posture. That is all because the most common site of osteoporotic fracture is spine. Right. Which of the following is seen in osteoporosis? I don't know. It might be a repetition. You can take this question.
Option 3.
Yeah, good. All of the following are true regarding, okay, osteoporosis. If I have not, if I have left anything, I will just finish. One more important thing is nowadays new drugs have come. Denosumab. It is one new drug. Denosumab. Denosumab is a specific drug for osteoporosis. What it does is, just this has been asked in some question, that's why I'm trying to explain this. This is osteoblast, this is osteoclast. Even the osteoblasts try to stimulate the osteoclast. See, this is like husband and wife. Even though they are opposite to each other, but they control each other. Okay? So, what happens? Sorry. So, osteoblasts stimulate osteoclasts by something called as, there is a rank receptor. I will not explain you the long form. Rank receptor, where this secretes a molecule that is called as rank L. Rank L, that is ligand. So this gets attached here. So by that the osteoclast gets activated and it will rob the bone. So this is inhibited by denosumab. Denosumab. It's an expensive drug. Of course, we are not using regularly. Just remember this. Okay. Pages. We are again. Is there anything? Of course, there are the treatment. I told you various drugs are there. And one more thing I told you, osteoporosis is minus 2.5 T score, isn't it? But if there is a fracture, if there is a hip fracture or a vertebral fracture, that means it is a severe osteoporosis. Osteoporosis, whether it is minus 1 to 2.5 or beyond 2.5, but there is additional fracture, that means the patient is already having a severe osteoporosis. Please remember this. Osteoporosis, there are so many things I have to tell you, but then with paucity of time, let us go ahead. And of course, there are of course, one interesting, what to say, there's a radiological feature, that is codfish appearance. Codfish appearance in the, this looks like a fish. I don't know for whom it looks like a fish. I have to draw a fish here then. Okay. This is a disc. It looks like a fish. Cod fish. Again, it is a misnomer because cod itself is a fish. But codfish vertebrae are seen in osteoporosis. Please remember that. It is also seen in osteomalacia, but most commonly it is seen in osteoporosis. Okay. We'll go to Paget's disease. So what is Paget's disease? Okay, we'll start this question first. All of the following are true regarding Paget's disease, except, yeah, I expect somebody to answer this, right or wrong. Go ahead. Anybody?
True, sir. Second option.
Second option. Who is this? Mohan. Who is this?
Manjunath.
Manjunath. Okay. Anybody else want to agree, disagree? Disagree basically, because anybody will be sitting there and agreeing. I want somebody who is disagreeing. Nobody. Shirisha.
Don't know, sir.
Don't want to take a chance. No negative marking anyway. Okay. You are wrong, Manjunath. I'll tell you why. Okay. Paget's disease. More pelvis is definitely most common site. High output cardiac failure is one of the complication. in Paget's, there are different stages 1, 2, and 3. It is in a resorptive stage. Osteoclastic stage, where there is resorption, excessive resorption. See, what is Paget's? Paget's is resorption is there and bone deposition is very, very irregular. Haphazard deposition of the bone is there. So, first stage there is a osteoclastic stage, then comes your irregular deposition, and then becomes your bone becomes completely sclerotic. So first there is excessive resorption. In the second, third stage there is excessive deposition. In between, during the active stage, there is resorption but abnormal bone deposition. There is no discipline or proper arrangement of bone deposition. That is to make things simple. That is Paget's disease. So, coming to your answer, cranial nerve involvement may be seen. You know why? There are foramina. Because of excessive deposition of the bone becomes sclerotic, the canal becomes narrowed. There can be hearing loss, there can be visual loss because optic foramina gets narrowed. Similarly, your auditory nerve can also get compressed. All the foramina where the cranial nerves are exiting gets compressed in the third stage of Paget's disease. Okay? Manjunath, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Good, you are still there. Blade of grass lesion is seen in googly. Is it a googly question? Okay, we'll not waste time. Blade of grass sign is seen in Paget's disease because we are dealing with Paget's. Is it? No, certainly no. We have dealt with osteoporosis also. But please remember, blade of grass lesion is seen in Paget's disease. I'll show you the diagram. See, this is a blade of grass. Why that is named also you should know. Look here carefully. Inside,
Sharp.
look at that. Sharp pointing osteoporosis. Here the bone is normal. Here it looks like a blade of grass, or it is also called as candle flame sign. Candle flame sign. Okay? Blade of grass sign or candle flame sign is seen in Paget's. It is an early sign. Here again I want to show you. Please look at this. It is a blade of grass or a candle flame. It looks like candle is burning, isn't it? Then you'll remember this. Okay, there are so many other signs with respect to Paget's. You will remember this only if you see a picture. There is also cotton wool sign. Look at this. There are also Vermian skull, Vermian bones. These words are not difficult unless you try to remember this by seeing this. You have to learn it by association. You have learned by memorizing or by mnemonics. Either of these three, wherever, whichever way you are good at. So cotton wool sign is seen in Paget's. Similarly, brim sign. Brim means, here look at this. Brim, pelvic brim or pelvic inlet. There it is sclerotic. Pelvic brim sign is also seen in Paget's. Anybody was happy that I was about to finish it? Okay. Not yet. Okay. See, this jigsaw or mosaic pattern are also seen in, look at this. There is one more term called as banana fracture. Banana fracture. It looks like a banana, isn't it? There can be a fracture here. That is also seen again in Paget's. Cotton wool, there is a repetition. Okay, it's here. Very good. Banana fracture. The bone gets deformed. One more thing you please remember, Paget's disease is also called as osteitis deformans. Very interesting. Paget's disease is also called as osteitis deformans. You know why? And Paget's disease can be monoostotic or polyostotic. There's something called as Albright syndrome. I will not get into that because there's no end if I go on. Paget's, remember, simply it can be monoostotic, means only one bone is affected, multiple bones are affected, it is polyostotic. Why it is called as osteitis deformans means the limb is deformed, because the bone gets soft and bone gets weak and gets fractured. It heals, but it is bent. It is deformed bone. Osteitis, actually there is a misnomer. It is a misnomer. It is not inflammation. Such limbs are worn. You know why they are worn? Because they are hypervascular. I told you there is a hyper or high output cardiac failure, or there is a Steele syndrome. Just to finish, though bones become hypervascular, all the volume of the blood in the body goes into the bones. So important organs like heart and brain can suffer from shortage of the blood supply. That is called as a Steele syndrome. And because of excessive vascularity, there can be a high output failure. Medical people can be a better person to understand high output failure. One common thing what you see is generally in hyperthyroidism, you see a high output failure. High output failure means high output cardiac failure, I mean. Okay, just for making it interesting, there is Tam O'Shanter sign. I don't know, but if you can remember, it will be great. Okay, picture frame vertebra is seen in. Picture frame vertebra is seen in. Okay, it is Paget's. Paget's is osteoarthritis deformans. You please remember. I will show you one diagram for this. See, this looks like a picture frame, isn't it? Frame is what? Frame is generally, I mean, the traditional one. Of course, nowadays there are no frame, isn't it? But the frame means the borders are equal like this. This is very typical of Paget's. Otherwise, what happens? This is only one bone now. This one vertebra is looking classical photo frame. Otherwise, see here, they are thin. This is a better depiction. If this goes on, deposition of bone goes on increasing, it can become a ivory vertebra. Ivory vertebra means completely it becomes white. Okay, picture frame vertebra is seen in Paget's. It can later go on to ivory vertebra, is also seen in Paget's. All of the following are true regarding Paget's except come quick, let us see who can take this question.
Sir, option 2.
Option 2.
Option 2. Okay. Anybody else want to differ?
Option 3.
Option 3. Okay. Its game is interesting. Anybody else? Now there are only two remaining, isn't it? 50-50. Kaun banega crorepati? Anybody will say osteoporosis? Everybody knows because I have explained. Please remember, students, Paget's disease is one of the common cause for secondary osteosarcoma because it is a highly vascular, high active metabolic resorption and deposition is happening at a very high rate. It can degenerate into malignancy. It can cause a malignant transformation. Paget's disease is one of the cause for secondary osteosarcoma. So this is correct. Alkaline phosphatase, I told you, Manjunath, this definitely increased because there can be fractures, isn't it? It is a deformed bone. There can be repeated fracture. There is an increased metabolic activity. Bone formation is there. Serum alkaline phosphatase has to go up. This, of course, you know well. This is the answer. Males are more affected than females. Okay, you'll remember this? Go. Which of the following, sorry for the spelling mistake, which of the following is a primary defect in Paget's? Take a guess, take a guess. Yeah?
Last, second option.
Blast.
Second option.
This one? Very good. This is the answer. So the primary defect of Paget's is there is excessive resorption of the bone and disorganized deposition of the bone. So primary defect is osteoclast. Good. So what is the treatment of choice for Paget's?
Fourth.
Which one?
Fourth.
Fourth. Anybody? Treatment of choice is bisphosphonates. I wanted to tell you one more thing. Bisphosphonates, there are three generation, first, second, third, or whatever. So one first generation, second, and third. First generation, it is etidronate. Etidronate. Okay, we'll not go there. Just remember alendronate and zolendronate. I should have told this in osteoporosis, but anyway, I will tell you now. See, this bisphosphonates, what happens? As I told, they are anti-resorptive. Okay? They are anti-resorptive. So means it doesn't allow the resorption happening, bone becomes strong. That is the idea. But this doesn't go on and on and on like a raloxifene or vitamin D or calcium or PTH. Because after some time, it limits the resorption up to 2 to 3 years. After that, the deposition also comes down automatically. So, okay, before that, so these are three generation. What is important is etidronate is permitted or drug of choice for Paget's. I'll tell you why. These alendronates, I told you, predominantly affects the anti-resorption. But etidronate affects both anti-resorption and deposition. These two predominantly affect anti-resorptive. Anti-resorptive. These are anti-resorptive. If the action on deposition is 1, the anti-resorptive action of these drugs is 1,000 times. But here in etidronate, it is 50-50. That's why this is permitted or used in Paget's where both resorption and deposition is affected. So you can remember very well. I think alendronate and zolendronate are used in osteoporosis. Etidronate is used in Paget's. I think you will remember this. Okay. A few MCQs on osteogenesis imperfecta. Am I getting late? Students can prompt me, or if they can leave silently also, no issues.
No, sir.
Okay, good. That is encouraging. Osteogenesis imperfecta true is what? Only one answer.
Option 2.
Very good. Very good. Option 2. Because what has happened, osteogenesis imperfecta is autosomal dominant or some mutation. More important is you should know what is the pathophysiology or etiopathophysiciology. What has happened is there is abnormal collagen. Abnormal collagen. Okay? It is an abnormal collagen both in quantity and quality. To make it simple, I don't want to use more of technical words. To make it simple, because of abnormal collagen, the strength of the bone is not strong. Please remember, bone has to have collagen. Collagen is like rope. Collagen is like a rope on which there is a matrix glycose things molecules are there. Then calcium sulfate molecules are added. These form like a sand, which makes it hard. This collagen are like a rope, which does you pull. Rope sustains. Pulling as much as you want to pull, it doesn't fail. So the matrix sustains a compressile. As I told you, rope is like again a tensile strength. It gives a tensile strength to the bone. Minerals give compressile strength. I explained you in Singh's index, isn't it? So minerals give compressile strength means if there is a hard brick, you stand on it, it doesn't break. If there is a soft brick, you stand on it, it gets molded or soft. Means it doesn't have a good compressile strength. Similarly, a thin wire can get cut. A thick rope can sustain a very good tensile strength. Tensile means you have to pull apart. So here the question in osteogenesis imperfecta, of course, if you can remember, I will tell you silence classification or silence classification is there for osteogenesis imperfecta. There are different up to 6 types. I don't want to get into the details, but please remember the main affection is collagen. So collagen is there in every connective tissue. Bone is also one of the connective tissue. That's how wherever connective tissue is there, it is affected. Simple, common sense. So similarly, skin is affected, teeth is affected, and your vascular tissue is affected, and finally your eyes are also affected, because that's why you see ligaments also have collagens. So you will have hypermobile joints, and you see blue sclera, very classical of osteogenesis imperfecta. I'll not go into that. Cranial nerve, you know very well, it is Paget's. Marble bone disease is, just to finish, it is osteopetrosis. Osteopetrosis. Okay, just to, it is marble. I told you marble. It looks like a white marble. Right. All of the features are osteoporosis imperfecta. Except, I forgot to write except.
Option 1, 3, and 4.
I'm telling you except.
Cataract.
Very good. This is cataract. Okay. Blue sclera, seen multiple fracture. One important thing you please remember, osteogenesis imperfecta, the bone, it's a fragility. Bones are very, very fragile. It is also called as brittle bone disease. They fracture easily, but they unite very well. You please remember this. Fracture healing in osteoporosis is very good or normal, but the strength is poor. Hence, you see, if you take an X-ray of a child, you will see one fracture is a fresh, one fracture is healing, one fracture is already healed. So you see different age fractures or fractures of different age. Not true about osteogenesis imperfecta.
Impaired healing.
First option.
Very good. Impaired healing. Okay. Osteogenesis imperfecta is due to, interesting, isn't it?
Option 2.
Yes.
Second.
Very good. Very good.
Second.
I told you, osteoid. See, it has a bone has an organic matrix and inorganic content. Organic matrix is again can be collagen and other molecules. Collagen deficiency, improper deposition of collagen is osteogenesis imperfecta. What is one more thing which affects improper collagen deposition? I have covered before. Scurvy, isn't it? Because vitamin C is essential for synthesis of fiber.
Collagen.
Right. Defective mineralization, can anybody tell me where it is seen?
Osteomalacia.
Yes?
Rickets.
Yes, rickets or osteomalacia. Very good. Very good. Rickets is in growing children, osteomalacia in adults. Simple. I have made it very clear in the last class. So this is one diagram where I wanted to see. You see a very young child with multiple deformed limb. You see it is and you look for the eyes, osteogenesis imperfecta. Just by if you are if the baby is cute, you want to lift it by one hand, the hand gets fractured. They are so fragile fractures. Similarly, you can see here, there's one which has already healed. Now it is healing. It is deformed. So as I told you, the multiple fractures with different age. Some are fresh, some are old. That is what I meant by different age fractures. This is one more diagram of osteogenesis imperfecta I wanted to tell you. Right. These are zebra lines. If you can remember, it will be great. Who knows, there can be next question in your exam. Zebra lines are again classical of osteogenesis imperfecta. Right? Okay, by that I think I come to the end of this class. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else you can always tell me. I am open to. I keep telling it, but even though it's a repetition, don't mind. So students are still there. That's good. Our principal is also still there, I guess.